So if you've read the description of the video, you should know as well as I do what should be in here, and it should be an Atari Megafile 60. But as to what condition it's in, I don't know. Now, the listing described it as working, but how that was tested, I don't know. And it should be in its original box. And if you've also seen any of my previous videos where I've unboxed something, you'll know how, for some reason, when I'm on camera, I seem to struggle opening boxes. So, prepare to be entertained with this. I don't know if you think I got it good for a good price or not. I think if it's working, I got it for a really good price. But we're about to find out. Now, let's get this black guff out of the way. Right. So it's certainly in its original box. And the box isn't in bad nick, to be fair, I suppose, for a 40-year-old box, thereabouts. Right. Now, I don't know if it comes with cables. If it comes with the adapter cable, the 19-pin cable, then that would be brilliant, but it didn't say so in the listing, so I'm going to presume it doesn't. Right, there she is. It's a bit brown. Cover's not broken, which is great. Now, the one bit that concerns me, I noticed that on the listing, is we've got a few of the screws missing. So clearly somebody's been here at some point. 1, 2, 3. 3 screws missing. Let's see what we find inside. I'm hoping there's a hard drive in it. A quick shout out to my channel sponsor, PCBWay. If you have an upcoming project, check them out with PCBs starting from $5 with fast shipping and turnaround, or whether it's 3D printing, whatever it is you might need. They even do CNC machining. They've got a solution for you. And check out the community page as well. There's some great project ideas on there. So thank you again, PCBWay, for sponsoring this video. Check them out. There's a link in the description. So here it is. It's definitely, like I say, it's definitely yellowed quite a bit more than the other Megafile that I have. I'll have to consider what I can potentially do with this, whether I retrobright it or see what else I might consider. But other than the yellowing, cosmetically the case looks pretty good. There's no obvious damage to it, which is great, which probably means that nobody's dropped it. Now, this should have a 60 megabyte hard drive in it, and there's a good weight to it, so I'm hoping there certainly is a drive in it. So as with, need a bigger screw head, Right. Need to magnetise this, bear with. Right, hopefully that's magnetised. No, not the slightest. Never mind. Let's just try again. Yep. Just about. We digress. Let's just crack on and get them out. So, question is, in my mind, why has somebody been in here? And the only way I'm going to find out is by looking. Let's just see if we can lift those screws out. Makes it easier than tipping it over and dropping them everywhere. A couple of the screws are different lengths as well. Which doesn't bode well. Never mind, I can always get some more screws. Main thing is what's in here. Let's find out, shall we? Right. So the tabs are all straightened out. So someone's been here and had access. But why? Let's find out. So we've got the ST205R, which should indeed be a 60 megabyte hard drive, I believe. We've got the motherboard, we've got the BIOS at the back, we've got a dirty fan, which that'll need some TLC just to clean everything up a bit. But otherwise, we've got the power supply obviously. Otherwise, everything seems to look okay. But this really isn't a visual test, is it? This is plugging it in and seeing what it does. I think what's interesting as well is the front fascia and status light, which I will show you. See, there's still a little status light in there. Obviously designed for the PC market with a 5 1/4 form factor. But we're going to have to put some power into it, aren't we? And see how the hard disk sounds. So it's set to off. Let's get a power lead and stick it in. So here we go. Got the power lead. Which way does it go? That way. In fact, I'm slightly worried now because I'm presuming this is UK spec, but I didn't read the back. Yeah, UK spec, 220, 240 volts. As if I plugged it in and it was 110, maybe I'd have had some issues. Well, I almost certainly would, wouldn't I? Come on. Right. I'm hoping this sounds just like an 80s hard drive. Cross your fingers, folks. I don't know if you saw there, we've got some activity lights. The hard disk doesn't sound rough, doesn't sound like the heads are catching. So far, I think this is okay. What I expect when this starts up is not only to hear the hard drive start up and start spinning, obviously, but I don't want the disk to sound rough. And compared to my other Megafile, I'm expecting that once the disk is spun up, I'm going to see some activity light on here, just briefly, as the unit gets going. Right, so here we are again. I'll just power it on. I'll turn my light down a bit just to make it a bit easier to see. Let's put the power on. See that? See it just flash away? I think that's a really good sign because that's exactly what my other Megafile does. But the only way to find out is to plug it in, obviously. Right, so here's my 20 megabyte Megafile. This is the SH205 before it was renamed the Megafile 20. If you've not seen the video on this, check out my recent uploads because you might find it well worth watching. But the seller didn't claim it came with any cables, and indeed it didn't, which is a shame because these 19-pin data cables are expensive to say the least, about 55 quid or so. But because they're super rare, it is what it is, isn't it? So all I'm going to do is I'm going to swap the connections over on the back of the SH205 and stick it into this one. And hopefully, once it's connected up to the ST, we can see just what state the drive's actually in, if indeed it recognises it at all. Right. So it's not a big job, just the data cable to swap. Can't see what I'm doing. Sorry for me getting in the way. There we go. That's in nice and snug. We'll just swap the power cable over. That should be good to go. Right, let's fire this up. That is one noisy beast. How much of that is the drive and how much is the fan? Quite a lot of the fan. I did a fan replacement on the SH205, so if this works, I'm going to do the same again. Right, let's fire up the ST. Right, so a moment of truth now, as I probably stick my head into shot to turn the power on. But everything's connected. If it's properly configured, it should boot quite quickly to the desktop. And if it's got a saved desktop, I should get to see the drive icons. So let's give it a whirl. Yeah, I saw a drive light flash. Then we've got a black screen. Let's just restart that. So it's trying to access the floppy drive, this one here. It hasn't given me anything, but let's just see if we can install a new disk drive. And it isn't recognising it, is it? Right, let's cancel that. Plan B, you see that? The hard disk utilities. Let's see if we can get this to recognise the drive there. I don't know whether this drive's been formatted or what, or whether it's just left with the old stuff on, like the SH205 that I got. Right. I'll try not getting in the way for you. Let's just maximise all that. HD install. Now that's not a good start. Let's boot it again. Let's close that. ADHI. AHDI even. Just going to check everything's connected properly, which it is. Right, I'm not sure. Let me just recheck the connection on the hard drive. Ah, the cable had come away. Could it be just a cable problem? Let's restart. Oh, yes. Is that good? Did that just work? Possibly not. Let's try it again. What did it do? Right, I'm just going to try to turn this off and on again. So I'm getting the drive activity light when I power the machine on. I'm confused. Yeah, that's read the hard disk. So I've got activity light. So still can't see it. Right, HDX. Please work. Right. What are your thoughts? I think I'm going to try using HD driver, but for that, I'm going to have to dig out my Gore-Tex. Right, so I've got that loaded on. Well, I've got the disc set up on the Gore-Tex. I've not really used this, so I might have to fumble along with me. Is that doing something? Okay, so let's cancel that. Let's change the resolution. Set preferences, medium. Okay. Right, let's try again. Okay. Launch HD driver, which I'm guessing is somewhere in there, is it? HD driver, it is. So did that recognise it was in there? I'm sure I saw something pop up for 0. Well, the hard drive's clicking away. One device, one scuzzy device. Should we format it? Hear the drive clicking away? Oh, it's just stopped. Right. Continue. Are you sure? Yes. Couldn't format medium. Right, why? Restore root sector. Couldn't read root sector. I'm worried here. I'm worried here. Will partition work? I think we might have a dead drive. Right, let me have a play around with it and I'll come back to you if I get some results. Right, I've just grabbed my phone quickly. It's damn well about to die, but I've just started ICD Pro, ICD hard disk formatter even. Or is it ICD Pro? Whatever, I'll put a caption on. But I've sent it to format, and I don't know if you can hear it over the fan and the disc spinning, but it does sound like the head's stepping. It does sound like the head was moving. I thought at first the head was jammed, but it does sound like it's doing something. So I'm going to leave it to continue. I don't know how long this is going to take, and I'll put my phone recording because I'm quite excited now. There's a potential that this may work. Right, I'm dashing around like a madman here. I've managed to get some charge back into my phone, my camera, whatever you want to call it. And this has popped up. So I've got to grab my camera as quick as I can. This looks like it's doing something. It's finished the format that I sent it to do. And one thing you'll find with my videos is, even if it's a fail, I'll show you the fails. It's is what it is. Right. So these are the default partitions. 30, 30 and a 5. Well, I thought this was 60. Hit me in the comments on that. Does that mean it's actually in total 65 megabytes? I don't know. I really don't know. I'm just going to be happy if this works. So I'm not going to change any of the settings. This is just as it's popped up. And let's click on partition the hard drive. Now, just while it's doing this, I can't remember what I paid for this. I think it was just over £70. Like I say, described as working, but I really don't know how this was tested for somebody to come to that conclusion. I don't know whether they connected up to an ST. I doubt that was done, to be honest. I presume that they just powered it up and listened to it and looked for the lights coming on. I'm just guessing. But at that price, with a working hard drive, that is a real bargain. These drives go for silly money now because they've just all died now. There's just not that many out there now that are in a working condition, and those that are, people know this and they ask a lot of money for them. So if I had to put a drive in, and from prices that I've seen, it's going to be, I think the cheapest I've seen is, I think, about £150 once. But they all seem to float around 200 plus. And I've certainly seen prices considerably higher than that as well. So if you start factoring in the cost of buying a hard drive as well as this, so you're easily up to the £300 mark potentially. And then there's another cable. There's another cable to buy, the 19-pin ASCSI, I think it is, which connects the ST to the hard drive. £55 plus postage. A lot of money. But if this is working and I can get just a cable, because my plan is, if this works on its own, my plan is I want to get it serial connected into the 20 meg hard drive and have them both running simultaneously. I think if we can get that working, I'll be a very, very happy bunny. But let's not be overconfident at this stage. But this is looking really, really positive. So cross your fingers for me. And let's see what happens. Right, well, I don't have a printer, so I think we'll cancel that one. So let's just quit this then. Right. Now I'm wondering, because my Megafile 20, the SH205, I used the Atari disc for that, and is it going to make a difference if I use this? Honest answer, I don't know. Let's just close this. I'm guessing I need to install drivers. So that's not seen anything yet. Right, let's... my CD boot program. I've not used this before, so please bear with me. We've got another drive. We've got C, D, and E. Right, let's install it to C. File not found. Okay. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to disconnect the Gotek and connect up the floppy drive and see if I can install the standard Atari drivers for it, because that'll match then the Megafile 20. Bear with me. Right, that should be the floppy drive connected. Let's just close that. Right, still got the disk in the drive. Right, HD install. I think we are cooking on gas, people. Right, let's quit. Let's close this. Oh, I'm really quite nervous now. So if I change that to C, is this going to work? Is this working? Let's see if it'll boot. Right. Let's see if we can install C, D, so that should be empty, which it is. Right, let's just check. Let's getting excited now. Let's add E. E, install C, D and E. So this one should be empty as well, which it is. Let's check properties. Did this say it formatted it at 5 megabytes? Is that what that works out as? I don't know. I can't think at the moment. So this should be 30. 30 with a big number. Right, I've just disconnected the external floppy drive and I've connected my Gotek just because I can. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and copy some games off the Gotek onto the hard drive. So let's use this one because it's got loads. New folder. Do I need a new folder? No, let's. So this should be Defender of the Crown, which it is. So let's just drag that onto D. Slowly working away there. The hard drive's clicking away. Show you the hard drive. So that's a little activity like that. And we've got the yellow one at the end matching it, because obviously you'd never see this one because it's inside the case. Still copying away. Right, so that's finished copying. Right, for those of you familiar with Defender of the Crown, you'll notice it's a multi-disc game. I don't think I ever truly owned the original, but it was. I remember from playing it. It took quite some loading. Right. Let's give it a whirl. Right. I'm just gonna slot the case cover back on top for now. I'm not going to put the shielding on. I'm just going to slot the cover back on because I am going to swap that fan out. I appreciate it'll be a repeat. If you've seen my previous video on the Megafile 20, you might want to skip that bet or whatever. But I'm definitely going to replace the fan, and let's just put the cover on, see how it looks together. How awesome does that look? I think this is going to have to be retrobrighted, but I'll save that for another video later, because no doubt this will take me a few days if I can get it right. Yes, I'll get a fan ordered. Look at that. They talk about the Sega Mega Drive Tower of Power. Look at that Tower of Power. Wow. Wow. Right, let me disappear. I've got to be up early for work. I should be in bed rather than doing this, but which is more fun. Get a fan ordered, and I'll see you shortly. Now, in terms of retrobrighting, everyone out there seems to have their own ways of doing it. I'm going to stick with what's more or less worked for me. And I'm going to stick the Megafile in a massive bag. I'm going to cover it with a load of bleach. And then I'm going to stick it in a UV box. So let's crack on and do that. So this is my retrobrighting box, which is nothing more than a great big cardboard box, which I've foil lined and stuck in a UV light. So what's worked for me is stick it in the box and leave it for several hours. And I guess depending on the strength of your UV light, how much bleach you've put in, how well you've spread it out, hopefully this won't go patchy. But I'll keep coming back to it on a regular basis and just giving it a massage and just seeing how it's getting on, really. I don't want it to go too far, because my experience of when you've done it too much is it really does start to really bleach it and it goes white. I just want to, if I can, just get rid of that yellowiness to it, the yellowy brownness. So I'll keep checking on a regular basis and hopefully we'll get a good result. Right, well, that case is retrobrighting, and I will certainly have to do the lower part as well at some point. I just want to see how the top half does. While it's retrobrighting, let's get this fan off and swap it for a quieter one. Like I say, if you've seen my other Megafile video, you'll have seen me do this already. But if you haven't, here you are. I'll need a bit of a clean. It looks like on this one, somebody's fed the fan underneath the PSU. See if we can do it without taking the PSU off. So that'd be easier, but I don't think it's going to, is it? Right, let's take the PSU off. How much have I got to do to take that off? Don't know how the power supply comes off. I'll spin it around so I can see. Right, so I just lift that leg up. Don't to force it. Because it's been powered on recently, I just don't want to start touching things willy-nilly. Right, it's coming away. Not quite sure which bit was holding it, to be honest. If anything at all, I think it just needed someone to have a bit more confidence in tugging on it. So that's come away. I can put the rest of it back together. So that's good. I'll be able to swap the fan over now. So unfortunately, all the clips that I had saved of the retrobrighting process got corrupted for some reason. Don't know why, but that's the situation that I found myself in. So I haven't got any clips of that. So here I am having retrobrighted the bottom half of the case as well, because I thought I might as well while it was disassembled. So this is a case of bringing it all back together now. Now that little retrobrighting chamber that I used, I left it in there for I think 3.5 days in total, and periodically every few hours I'd just come back, turn it, massage the cream round, and leave it again for a few hours. Kept on doing that, kept an eye on it, and it came out pretty good. So I'll leave you with watching it all go back together. So I wasn't particularly happy with how that was starting to look with the Molexes and everything. It was going to be too high there anyway, so I'd need to get an extension, and I didn't have the exact connector there either. So I thought I'll reuse the original one, which I have done. I've done it off camera because I didn't think it would be particularly interesting. I've just taken the original connector off. Took the connector off the knock to a fan, just chopped it off, avoid the Molex altogether, and then I've just joined them together and shrink that them. So nothing exciting there, but powering on then. Fan spins up, drive spins up. I think we're about ready to put it back together now. I'll probably just tidy this a little bit up. Watching your fingers near that thing. It tried nibbling me earlier. Put a few tie wraps on, tidy it up a bit, and I think that's about it. Now, one thing I don't think I've mentioned much so far is these dip switches on the back. Now, I can't find any instruction manuals relating to these, but I'm almost certain that these relate to setting the drive ID. So I've already got one Megafile, so I'm presuming that all the way up is 0, and that this is some sort of binary configuration on these switches. So I'm thinking that 3 is the first digit, 2 is the second digit, and 1 is the third digit, if that makes sense. So to make this drive 1 as opposed to 0, which it's currently set to, then I need to move 3 down to 1. If I wanted to make it drive 2, following the binary nomenclature, as it were, I'd move 3 back up to 0 and 2 down to 1, and so on. I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to try setting this to 3 down to 1. Wow. The right hand side down to 1, and wow, what a waffle. I'm just going to literally move that first one. Right, so I've just flipped that down to 1 on the right hand side, as you can see, and I'm hoping that makes it drive 1. If any of this makes sense, well done. I know what I'm talking about. I just hope you do. Right, so I've put them both together, and the worst one is the top one, and it's looking considerably better than the one that I already liked. And we could go around in circles here. Am I going to retrobright the bottom one? I don't know. I was quite happy with that until now, so probably not for the time being. But moving round the back, this is where it gets slightly more interesting. So I've got this one going to the Atari St. This is the supply to the Atari St. The data supply, that is. This now I am chaining. So the out on this is going to, if you can see, so this will be now connecting to the out at the bottom, which is a bit fiddly, so I'll do it off camera, but you get the idea. So I've just repositioned myself and connected everything in. So that's the idea. So this will be drive 0, should be. This will be drive 1, and that's then chaining straight into the back of the primary drive, in theory. Right, let's power it up and see what gets recognised. Right, I've connected up as it shows in the manual, and when I boot up, it shows me no drives. If I disconnect the second Megafile and just have the one connected, it shows it absolutely fine. Now, when I do the same with the Megafile 60, which is the new one, with the dip switch changed, it doesn't see it at all. So I need to do some investigating there. I'll open it up and I'll try to change the dip switch settings, see if I can see the drives. Right, I seem to be having some success. I've changed the dip switch to this one just down. I've put 3 back up and I've moved 1 down, and I've powered it up, and this time it's booted to desktop, and those should be the files on my original Megafile. And I know I left D empty. And games. Yeah, so I can now see my original Megafile, which is good. And when I run the disk, sorry, not the disk utility, when I run the ID check, which should check each of the ASCII connections, I've now got 2 adapters showing, which is great. So I'm wondering now if I can just add the other drives. Install drive. So if I install as F, and then install, I keep trying to right click, install drives, G, let's make it a big letter, right. Now let's change that one. Okay, let's have a look on F. Drive you specified does not exist. Right, so clearly that's not working. Alright, let me have a think. Right, so I've just gone to the Atari hard disk utility and it recognises 0 and 2 as being connected. So there's two drives connected. So I've selected the second drive and I've just set it to format because it wouldn't let me repartition it at that time, and I think that's what I need to do whilst they're both connected together. I think I need to reformat the drive. Not quite sure why, but I'm going to try it anyway. So let's see if this works. So you join me back and everything is working brilliantly, but before I show you that, I will show you what I've done, because I think if you're following this, this is probably going to be the most useful for you if you're trying to do the same as me. So what I did was I loaded up the Atari HDX program. Just wait for that to load. And I've gone to format it. Obviously selected Unit 2. I'm not going to continue any further than this, but I've continued to format using that. So I'll cancel that and quit. Now, when I've tried to install the driver, it wouldn't install. I presume because it just wants to go to the default Megafile. Now, I couldn't get that to work, so what I did do, so HD driver, loaded up HD driver. Now I've got the paid version, which gives different options. I get the option, I think the paid version, you get the option to format and partition. I think on the free version, you don't get all these options. So if you don't get the options, you're going to have to put your hand in your pocket, I'm afraid. At least if you want to use this. So there they are. Windows, I'll just turn the drives on. There we go, there's the drives. So all I did was I went to the first one, which is that one, file, and install HD driver. I'm not going to do it again because I don't want to break it because I've got it working. But that's all I did. Installed HD driver. Then once I'd exited out of that, the system rebooted and I could go through the normal process of installing and naming the disk drives. So next thing to do, I think, is get the RF shield put back on it and fasten it all back together. Well, I think the thing to do now is give you a demo of the startup of this tower of power. So let's fire up the Megafiles. We'll start with the 20 meg. That's that. Let's do the Megafile 60. Awesome. Right, let's fire up the ST. And just to show everything's working, let's start up Defender of the Crown. Well, I think we can say that that's working, can't we? Well, if you got this far, I would really appreciate that thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of what I do, then don't forget to subscribe. There's also a link in the description if you'd like to support my channel. In the meantime, thank you for watching. It's always appreciated. And I will hope to see you again soon in another video. Thanks and bye for now.